Okay. Hey, players. I think it's time we have that talk. You know, the talk that a lot of people may or may not be talking about, but something that needs to be brought up. And you know, and maybe the developers would never hear about this. Maybe the developers just didn't quite do the math or that sort of thing. Maybe some new equipment in April is going to fix all this. But if they don't fix this whatsoever, and I'll say it was great they finally added the LC augments, but we are going to just look at a random character. And let's see something real quick. Yes, perfect. Okay. So we're going to look at this thing right here. Now I want you to take a very good look at all of these augments right here. Pretty standard stuff. I've already had my complaints about the very existence of the free-to-play gear. But the thing is, back in the day, and you're going to hear me say that a lot, by the way, back in the day, the free gear, it was necessary at some point, but at the same time it wasn't. But to stay on track, though, this is about scarcity. Because I feel like it's a big issue when it comes to this game. Because, let's see, what would it take for this person to even be convinced to switch to the newest gear? Because, funny enough, when we look at this, your typical weapon, and this guy doesn't have exactly a typical weapon. He got it from months ago to get this weapon. Not be the best example, but it's still kind of the same thing. So let's see, what do you think it would take for someone to, you know, upgrade to the next weapon? Right? Obviously, the EX augments are replaceable. They are easily replaceable. And every single augment that you see has LC to it is replaceable. Every single one of them. Like, there's no issues with weapons right now because they don't have a particular issue like what armors do. Yeah, actually, my issue regards into the armors and the fact that it comes down to these two little augments, by the way, as they are quite difficult to replace. I mean, could you imagine? And I think a triple... In fact, I want to compare these numbers, by the way. Let's compare the triple 2. I think the highest it gets is a 4, right? And this is a whole 1.25 points.
Welcome.
Everybody, let's show this real quick. Actually, I don't even have it on me right now. Trip eyeball. Trip eyeball.
Hi there.
Was it 2 L's? It's 2 L's, fantastic. Oh man, it's much worse than I thought. I didn't realize it was just a 3. The other one was a 5. It's like, no, you actually can't just replace a triple. That's a huge difference. And I actually didn't realize how big of a difference this was. Oh my goodness. We're looking at a 4 versus a 2.5. It's not... Even the 4 potency is terrible. These aren't replaceable. They are not replaceable. So you're thinking to yourself, alright, what does a player do, by the way, to replace any of these at all? They have to go by the pay-to-win augments. But no, let's just say someone wants to stick to, oh, I don't know, the free-to-play gear. Like mine, for example. And make no mistake, that N Addy thingy costs way more than that Larze. And we do have a huge problem here. And of course I kept the master and triple togethers. Of course I did. I had to. Because I still think floor potency is very important in this game. Super, super important. But let's be real here. How would someone go about exchanging these items? We'll go for the typical easy Urze, which thankfully is in supply right now. And because it's in supply, it's because, oh, I don't know, maybe because it's like very cheap to get. Like, not too bad. Under 2 mil. And that's just an example. And granted, you only have to get one of these, because you have to tell people that you have to get one of these, and it's a 100% rate. But that's all nice. 7.5. Substantially big. Now, what about the other one? And this is assuming we're replacing the, because make no mistake, when you try to go to the fuchsia armor, you can't quite exactly replace stuff. At all. Not yet. I think I might have to tell my entire alliance to just not try to upgrade in a certain manner. Because that's what's going to take, by the way. Like, it can't fundamentally be done. And anyone, and I said this in previous videos, anyone who used their augment transfer passes to get everything from their, and I'm going to do this next time around. Come to, what's the deadline for this? What is the deadline? I can check here and take the deadline. Okay, good. So, after the 6th, January, February, March, April, May, June. After June 6th, when the inevitable, extremely powerful new gear shows up, the new free-to-play gear shows up, well, a lot of us are going to just augment transfer, like, from the get-go. And everyone who's augment transfer is pretty much set, really. They are set up until this point. Because Sega made a somewhat of a bonehead decision and didn't give us enough gear to upgrade. And that was a Urze. Now, what else are we supposed to use? Let's look at somebody else gear. If they have it, by the way. Because again, I don't blame them. A Ratty. Man, if I could actually find a Ratty. I mean, he must have did it really early back in the day. These are all months. What the? What is this? Oh yeah, I almost forgot about those raw tech DPs. But what would he replace it with? Oh no. Even I have issues with this. Like, what is your floor potency, sir? Player. Right, sure, you have all... Okay, there's a Ratty. I didn't see a Ratty at first. Okay, so they have a Ratty. That's... Wait, you have a Urze... And you have a Ratty. So, what's going on here? This is up to date. That's up to date. That's something that's not up to date. How do you make a mistake like that, honestly? I don't know. I don't think I'm not going off a track, by the way. This is all kind of important, by the way. Because there's kind of no reason for that DP durable to be there whatsoever. Like, no. And some of you might think it's bonehead to have a, where is it at? An Addy. But truthfully, an Addy was just cheaper at the time, you know? And it's at least a 5. Still doable. What a damn ratty.
Hi there.
Like, cut me a break. And all these stupid abbreviations keep showing up. Oh, look at that. Not even the best type of augment you can get your hands on, but still absolutely ridiculous. You expect people to pay? This player expects to be paid this much money because it's so extremely rare to come by. And the thing is, it's not feasible. It's just not. So, some players have to go for the unfortunate option of oh, I don't know. And an Addy. And mind you, that's the cheapest option. For an augment that's about double of the Yerzay. And you might think that, you know, this isn't so bad. It's just like under 4 mil. It's stupid. Let's be real here. It's so stupid looking at this and thinking that this is what it takes to upgrade. An augment that's clearly weaker shouldn't be costing that much. But it's also free to play. And we know that the price would go down if it was available. It absolutely would, but they don't do it. Because the thing is, not everyone has that kind of money. Not everyone has that kind of time. I could justify a reason for my team to go to deck space for at least 1 whole hour. Hell, maybe even 2 hours, to at least come out with buy at least 1. Yeah, they would have to go to deck space, and if we don't have any boosts, for at least 2 hours just to afford one of those. It's not the end of the world, but then where to put it at? Where do I put that augment at? I might have to stop my friend, because it really does come down to, and I remember him trying to upgrade his gear and stuff, and it's like, man, how do I tell him to stop upgrading his gear? How could I sit here and look him dead in the face and be like, you've made a grave mistake? Because there's all this math that I have to do behind this. These silly augments having these abbreviations and stuff. We need some new augments to help us out. Some augments that reach at least the 0.5. Yeah, the 5% scale. Everything else is just it's not replaceable. The only meaningful thing to do at all is to run the free-to-play gear with the pay-to-win augments. One of them. While keeping everything else. And let's say if we didn't have the money to pay for that Addy, by the way. Because that did cost around 4 million. Make no mistake. Let's see. You could find something to replace that with. I have to look at one of these to find out. Let's see. And that was my last attempt to fix this sort of stuff, by the way. But look at the last one. The last one wasn't too bad. See, a DP was close. See how close that was? This is my last attempt of caring about replacing gear and stuff. Sure, a Spyro was a little weird because it, you know, but it was close. It's just that my friend is just going to have a huge problem. What good is a Forska armor if it's going to cost too much money to upgrade in the first place? Not everyone has about, let's be real here, without any boosters and being new players, 6 hours maybe. 6 hours of gameplay. An entire week's worth they want to spend just to get enough money to do this sort of stuff. And buying a premium may not fix the issue. Maybe they'll come across a rare item that they can sell. Well, they're rare for a reason. They're hard to come by. And it's just not possible. Honestly, I really wanted to just trade all of this. Because I have this all the way up until June, really. April going to make me decide whether or not I even consider keeping this around. Because that gear that I have right here is just enough to beat the, whatchamacallit. Like, this is just good enough. Yeah, it's just good enough to beat Dark Falls VL, the Malignant version, with the help of others. Just enough. I can also look at some numbers too. Because when it comes to adding augments, you gotta understand a couple of numbers here and there. You gotta understand, how can I comfortably replace anything at this point? So the N Addy is a 13A, and the Larze is an A. N Addy. A13, and the Larze is an 832. Oh, and make no mistake, the Larze is weaker, by the way. And at this point, probably more expensive. It's more expensive, and it's weaker. But it got the job done. Truthfully, they need to patch this sort of thing. They can make a hot fit to making the Larze augments, you know. But then it'd also be another scarcity issue. Again, the people who have it would probably immediately, like, switch it over, and the market would just go crazy. Like, people have to immediately stop whatever they're doing, get online, like, oh no, I'm going to lose out on some money because they changed some things. And it would hurt the market. Certain players. Because why should I worry about upgrading, right? I managed to get past the threshold and stuff. And I still think, even to this day, that people don't actually intend on selling these weapons, by the way. They really do genuinely want to have this just to show off, I believe. Genuinely, that's the case. Because why else would you have these outrageous numbers? And I think this is the same thing that this other YouTuber was looking at right now. It's just getting so depressing that a lot of us are going to be stuck to free-to-play gear because there's nothing we can do about it. But hey, that's just how it goes. I know you exist. Come on, game. I know it's embarrassing you can look for this type of augment, but it does exist. It's in the same category as an Addy. So that right there is the only other option, according to this. That's the cheaper option. That's the cheaper options. Not the Ratty, not the Anaddy, but the XDI. That's the only way, and that's the only thing that'll come close to replacing. What does that replace, actually? You have to do some math and some huge subtractions here and there, because everything else is just out of the question. I mean, I'm glad that they're actually showing all of these, by the way, so we could all sit here and understand the situation that we're in. And be like, well, my friend just told me. It's like, well, your friend told you wrong. It's just like, well, the market's pretty bad. You know? I mean, they could have people that says otherwise. And, oh, okay, here's a couple of other ones that are at 2 mil. Wow, this is actually really cheap, by the way. So let me go ahead and put that on my wanted list. And this is for you knuckleheads that even want to think about doing something like this. Like, so 2 of these. Oh, that's a male tech, by the way. Ooh, that stinks, actually. Not everyone runs with male tech. We're going to keep it because it's also, I mean, as long as you use technique, and I don't play these people ever using whatchamacallit. Yeah, sometimes you have to just go for what's cheap right now. We're also going to keep a hold of this, too. But this is the marketplace for you. You honestly, genuinely believe that we're supposed to just be able to, like, these are affordable, actually. Yeah, make no mistake. This is what the Ratty should be costing right about now. That's an understandable number. So let's see if we're, because the way they do math here is kind of weird, by the way. So if we're talking realistically, yes, this is a 6. That's my weapon. That's not a good example. But even I have an Addy on here. Yeah, I have an Addy right here. And then a 7.5. It's just going to feel awful, by the way. Like, it's just going to feel awful about upgrading any of this stuff in the first place. You know, it's not too late for that guy to sell his armor right now, actually. Like, yeah, it's at 100, and he could probably get a good, like,
Hi there.
I know that was dumb to do that, by the way, but, hear me out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13. A 13-star armor. What is my friend's way out of the situation? Like, you might have to stick with pro grade. He just might. But I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from, right? You could call them lazy for not wanting to spend 6 hours in the cave. But I don't know. After 6 hours in the cave, that stinks, honestly. Alright, but in all seriousness, I have 100. Before he drops any augments on that thing. Yo, he needs to sell it. He needs to sell it. If this is what if this is what people are getting for a 100 fuchsia, he needs to sell. He needs to sell. Hell, I need to sell. I might start doing that, honestly. If that's what it takes. Like, damn, really? I can get 10 mil? I think we have ourselves a way to make money around here. We just might. Like, this is nuts. Because some people actually will spend 10 mil on this. And put themselves in the worst trap possible. I can't imagine all the videos that I've been making where I would just keep trashing, laughing at people's armors and stuff like that. Like, maybe I'll find one eventually. Maybe. But y'all gotta see how funny this is. When someone tries to upgrade and gets it wrong. And this guy paid a pretty massive penny to even get all this. Huh? An S? Oh my gosh, you idiot. I knew there was something wrong here. You're not even going to replace it with the LC version. Well, people not knowing how to upgrade their armor is going to be a very common thing, by the way. Alright. I know what to do. I know how to help my friends. I know how to get them stronger. There's only one option. Sticking to the Urzays, and only a Urzay, and sticking to the free-to-play gear, because the free-to-play gear is going to carry them all the way up into, and we'll be hitting hard enough, truth be told. We'll be hitting hard enough, and it makes more sense. Upgrading your weapon is fine. That is a completely harmless thing to do. It doesn't have huge downsides to it. We still got people like this who are still walking around with the tier 2 instead of tier 3. You didn't notice the background was gray, didn't you? Didn't you? No. You're just like, I don't know. And I lost a bum too with that. Well, not entirely. I've been ranting for almost 30 minutes. Alright, hopefully that worked. Anyway, 30 seconds left, let's see it. So I hope you guys understand, but the TLDR is that due to the supply-demand of this game, it is not feasible for anybody to be upgraded to the Fusca armors. What really actually matters, based on what I'm looking at the market right now, is to get the Fusca armor, but upgrade to 100 and put that motherfucker on the market and get 10 mil. Because the exchange rate versus getting a Fusca. How are you here? And that's pretty much it, really. Just that's the only meaningful thing to do. Just keep using the free gear. Upgrade it once. by replacing your weakest augment that doesn't involve hurting your floor potency. And if you really, really do want to, actually look at this person. Actually, I can't leave. Yeah, this guy's level's too low. Was it you that I was teasing? I bet anyone. I could tease pretty much anyone here. Why wouldn't anyone have the same issues, by the way? Because what would a person replace if they went my method? You would just eyeball all of this and say, which is the weakest? You wouldn't replace that one despite its power difference. You would technically replace your Terra, is what you would do. Now y'all sit here could argue about how they shouldn't do that and they should upgrade the armor. No, they should get the armor to sell. That's what should happen. And we got ourselves a new person. Wow, okay. Was it this guy right here? I guess the video is technically over here, so let's see. I mean, I know what most people usually say after ending a video, but I don't know. I trust you guys. You know what to do if you like the content, right? Take care. We're gonna make sure none of my friends ever make the poor mistake of trying to upgrade to Fusca armors. Because it's bull crap. It's not worth it. Until they find a way to carefully replace the two exclusive augments.